I could probably spend another week here and still not feel fulfilled. I love that sparkling feeling. The carbonation in it is perfect. Tendon skin dangling from the bone. Wow. Oh, there's actually a piece of hair on it still, like oxtail hair.
If you're new to my channel, my name is Jeff and I'm a husband, father of 3, and a self-proclaimed foodie who quit my corporate job to trade, travel, and eat. I recently embarked on a 2-week trip in Europe where I spent 3 days of that time in the beautiful city of Barcelona, Spain. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you an epic journey as we explored and ate our way through so many amazing foods that this historic and culturally rich city has to offer.
Going down this tiny little one-man elevator.
We arrived to Barcelona following a 19-hour multi-stop flight from the United States, and given that I was traveling with my family of 5, it made perfect sense for us to stay in an Airbnb situated in between the Sant Antoni and El Raval communities. The unit we stayed in had a lot of charm and consisted of 3 bedrooms plus 1 bath and a cozy yet sizable living room with a fully equipped kitchen. The surrounding areas just footsteps away were filled with plenty of local restaurants, eateries, and market stores that made our stay extremely comfortable and convenient, and we took full advantage of it during our time here.
Alright guys, so today is our first day here in Barcelona. We just arrived about 4 hours ago. So right now on our first day, we're just doing a little bit of exploring and wandering around the heart of the Airbnb that we're staying at. So the restaurant that we're going to be going to is a place called La Roseria Xàtiva de Sant Antoni. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but we're going to go check it out. La Roseria Xàtiva, and this actually was about a 5-minute walking distance from the Airbnb. But what we ordered is actually a shellfish paella for 2, a bulltail stew for 2, and some additional sides. Alright, so we're digging into the smoked sardine toast. So it looks like there's some pickled vegetables or onions of some sort. You can see the sardine right underneath it, and their toast, it's actually smothered with some type of spread. They drizzle it with some additional salad dressing of some sort on top. That's good. Very savory. The sardines, you don't taste any fishiness at all. Everything comes together very well. A little bit zesty as well too. That's fresh. All right, so they just brought our next starter or salad that we're gonna share, and it's the goat cheese salad au gratin. And it's a big chunk of goat cheese that's like a piece of tree trunk that they cut in half or something. Actually a little bit intimidating to eat, but it looks like it's jam-packed, filled with flavor. I'm assuming that's just gonna be some vinaigrette, salad dressing, and olive oil, diced fresh tomatoes, some arugula, baby spinach. Okay, so I'm gonna dig into my portion of this goat cheese salad au gratin. Try to get the tomato as well. Got a little bit of everything on this bite. That goat cheese just kind of like dissolves and smothers your mouth. Very flavorful. Wow. You can taste that balsamic vinaigrette. The olive oil is very fresh. Just gonna try some of this goat cheese by itself. Creamy like butter, very smooth. All right, so they just brought us our main course. We ordered a shellfish paella for 2 and a bulltail, not oxtail, bulltail stew in a red wine. And it looks very extravagant, so we're gonna actually dig into the paella first. And so the paella comes with a bunch of giant shrimps with the shells on, mussels, a little bit of crab legs, and obviously that sauce, squid as well. If you wonder what the wooden spoon is for, it's for your paella dish. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna dig into on this paella dish is take some of that paella rice with these chunks of squid and octopus and see how that is. It's very tasty though. Wow. Wow. That squid and octopus, not chewy at all. You bite right into it, super tender. Like a piece of chicken almost. Wow. As you can see that little tiny baby squid here with its little tentacles. There we go. So tasty. Wow. Savory. loaded with flavor. Heavy though, wow. All right, so let's try some of this mussel. A little tiny piece here. Get some of that rice and squid. No sign of chewiness to it at all. That's what I think I hate about certain shellfish. Like, it's not prepared well or the quality is bad. You bite into it, it's like very tough, right? This is super tender. Like I said, a piece of chicken. You can see we polished off that paella. Now we're digging into this bulltail stew. So I get the big piece of oxtail, which is one of my favorite pieces of beef. I've cooked a lot of oxtail, bulltail in my life, and if it's prepared good, this meat should just come right off the bone, just like that. Wow. So if you didn't know, that's one of the toughest cuts of meat on a cow itself. And then they have this rice here that they smother with the stew sauce, the red wine stew sauce, a little bit of onions. Not a whole lot, I don't see any vegetables, just rice and onions. You have to eat it with the rice. By itself is very good, but with the rice it just comes together very nicely. Now it's my opinion that no stew should be meant to be eaten without any type of rice, but I am of Asian descent, so we eat everything with rice. Sometimes with oxtail you just gotta get your hands dirty. Wow. You can taste the gelatinous part of it too, the fat and the tendon. All right, so we just wrapped up that meal, and it's about 9:35 p.m. here, local time here in Barcelona, Spain. And when we first walked in, the restaurant had a lot of people, but they actually had some empty tables. And if you didn't know, the dining culture here in Europe, for the most part, most establishments don't actually start getting busy, or most patrons don't come out for dinner until actually around 9 p.m. Unlike in the United States, you typically have dinner around 6:30, right? Over here it's much later. So all the dishes we tried were absolutely amazing. My favorite was that bulltail stew. The paella was spectacular, but also the starters. The sardines, so fresh, right? Like everything that they put in the sardines, the flavors came together very nicely. All right, so they actually have an outdoor dining area as well. So if you want to get some fresh air while you're dining, that's an option. I believe you might need reservations because for us, we just took whatever table was available.
If you're keen on trying out some additional paella dishes during your visit to Barcelona, another establishment we visited was Casa Amalia, located at the El Exemple neighborhood. The food and service we received during our dine-in experience was absolutely impeccable. We were given complimentary crab cakes to start that paired very well with the butternut squash salad that we ordered. The highlight, however, were the two main courses we shared that included a duck foie gras paella along with the mussels that were cooked and smothered in a rich and savory sauce that made every bite absolutely spectacular. This next spot that we visited was a real treat and has forever changed my palate for eating cured meats anywhere else in the world.
Okay, so inside this establishment is quite small, but it's premium selection hams ranging from like 4 to 6 years that we're going to be sampling from. So as you can see, there's various ham legs that's kind of just hung and strung upon the rails. There's a variety of wines and cheeses as well that you can order.
This one is the Mallorquin one, and this one is a manchego. It's the most classical cheese of Spain.
So this is the 50 months cut. Let's try it out. Wow. Super tender. Kind of has the texture of jerky, but super tender. Flavor is absolutely strong. Very aromatic. Wow. It's gonna be interesting to try some of the higher aged ones because the middle one here, they say it actually has really strong notes in terms of the flavor profile. Well, let's give it a try. Definitely more aromatic than the first one I just tried. Wow. It's like something you don't actually want to mix with bread. I mean, I feel like the way they cut it, the quality of it, you just want to eat it by itself. It's so shiny. It doesn't taste very fishy. I mean, you can taste the fish flavor, but it's very mild. With that bread and the tomato sauce, or tomato spread they put on the bread, it comes together very nicely.
Having traveled to other European countries such as Italy and Portugal, I can honestly say that the cured meats we had at Reserva Iberica was hands down the best I've ever had in my life. Now, every dining experience is subjective to the eater, but if I had to put a #1 ranking on my best overall dining experience during my trip to Barcelona, it came from a food establishment located in the neighborhood of Sant Antoni, specializing in a variety of Iberian cuisines.
Oh, nice. Right when you first walk in, you see these premium selection hams like what we had earlier for today. Oh yeah, beer looks nice. There's a few people dining in. Hopefully they have space for us. We're just doing a walk-in, no reservations. Okay, so the local place that we're sitting at, that just did a walk-in, hopefully I don't butcher the name, is called El Rebost de Sant Antoni. And looking forward to it. My other two daughters decided to stay in today. They're a little bit tired still from jet lag, but for us three, the typical travelers, if you've been following me on my channel, we are in need of food, and here we are. So let's try it out. So this place is actually very local. The owner of the restaurant, they actually helped us out because obviously we don't speak Spanish, and trying to use Google Translate has been a little bit of a challenge to know what's good to order. So we asked them just to provide us what they would recommend for, I guess, tourists or their guests, and we ordered tomato with sweet salad. They said it's the highest quality tomato, sweet onions, and freshest tuna of the day that they get. And we ordered some toast with some spread on there, so I believe it's a tomato spread. And then we ordered a plate of Iberica meat. And then when we first walked in, there was multiple platters of this waited to be served to their existing guests. So we decided to order that ourselves for trying. All right, and so the first thing I'm gonna try is just some of this ham here. And you can see it's very fatty. Lots of grease, lots of oil. So much flavor. That's very tasty. I'm gonna dig into some of this Iberica chorizo. It looks like it's spicy, but there's no, maybe it is, a little bit of a mildly zest. Very aromatic as well. Try another one of these here. Okay, so this, he said this one is actually similar to the chorizo. More like just a traditional salami, I guess. More on the salty side. Good. Okay, and so this toast just looks like very simple spread of like a tomato spread and some olive oil. Very crunchy. Yeah, and that spread just tastes like tomato. And you can taste the tint of olive oil too as well. Oh yeah, add a piece of ham. Yeah, adding some flavor of the meat to it actually makes it more fulfilling. Try to get a little bit of everything and see how the flavors come together. The sweet onion for sure, you don't taste it like strong onion potent flavor. Those tomatoes are very juicy, and the tuna, very mild. Like you can't taste any fishiness to it, so it just tastes like protein. Wow, I mean there's a slight tint of fish to it, but it's good. Good. All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so we got our main course after we plowed through those starters. They both are actually served with fries, and the first cut that we actually ordered is what they call here in Spanish, it's called entrada, and I didn't know what it was until I looked it up. And entrada, I guess it's just a skirt steak, which is known for flavor, not really tenderness, but that actually looks like it's very tender as well. And the next piece is actually just a secret cut of the pig, and the one that we got served today is between like the rib and the loin, apparently. So we have a little bit of steak as well as pork for our main dishes. And we asked for medium rare. Oh man, that's like marbling. Flavors look amazing. So tender. They jam-pack it with flavor as well. That sauce gives it a whole nother level of savoriness. Very tender, but it's not super tender like a ribeye or a dry-aged steak or something, right? But the flavor, you can taste that beef, the natural flavors of that beef. Not drenching it, but just drizzling a little bit of that sauce that they give on the side gives a nice little touch. For some of these fries with a little bit of that steak juice. Those are probably better than McDonald's fries for me. Those fries are almost like a cross between a traditional French fry that you're used to having and a potato chip. Now this one does not come with any special sauce. We're going to be able to taste the pig, the pork very well here. Super tender. And it tastes like just the most basic marinade, just like a little bit of salt. It's so good already. Wow. It's kind of jiggling right here. Good. We actually had a chance to talk to the owner of the restaurant, and he's a huge football fan, soccer fan. And inside the restaurant itself, there's like pictures of various teams. So it's a pretty cool spot, especially if you're a football fan and the owner's a football fan. You know, it's a great place to come check out if you're visiting Barcelona. From my perspective as a tourist right now, I'm sure there's plenty of other great places to try, but this was a very convenient spot for us to hit up near Airbnb today. And lo and behold, it was a win-win. So we came here and the food's amazing. So I personally enjoyed all those starters. I liked that secret cut of the pork meat. That skirt steak or the entrada was spectacular as well. And the service and the people here are just super, super friendly.
Now, no trip to Barcelona can only be about food, so to take a break from all of the food indulgence we enjoyed, here were a few historic and iconic sites we paid a visit to during our stay. La Sagrada Familia. Built in 1882 with ongoing construction it seems, it is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Barcelona, and the level of architecture inside and out is absolutely mesmerizing. The surrounding area is filled with tourists as you can imagine, and we booked our self-guided tour tickets well in advance that allowed us access inside of the cathedral and surrounding areas. Another popular spot we paid a visit to and admired the stunning sights was the Cathedral de Barcelona, located in the Gothic quarter. Much like any popular tourist attraction, there was no shortage of crowds, and the historic and iconic area was filled with a lot of vibrant energy.
Check out some of the cool artwork murals.
Now, whether or not you have a sweet tooth, if you're visiting Barcelona, then you should definitely try some of their famous churros, which are available from a variety of shops scattered throughout this city.
Alright, so we are ordering just some basic churros with hot cocoa. This place apparently has a lot of good reviews, so we're making a pit stop. Thank you. Probably the most exciting thing for me for today so far. Can't leave until we try some of the famous churros with chocolate dip.
It's not so sweet.
Get a good amount of this chocolate. There you go. Very airy. Wow. And that cocoa is not very sweet at all. Just like tastes like your standard milk chocolate, but the churro itself is very light, crispy on the outside, a little bit tender on the inside. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna have to order another pack. Yeah, so we bought one pack to share for the family. This one's all for me. That's good, man. You gotta eat it fresh when it's like a little bit hot on the inside. Wow.
Located just steps away from the Barcelona Cathedral is a place called La Alcoba Azul, where we sampled a variety of tapas dishes to share.
Alright, so we finally got a table outside at La Alcoba Azul, and we ordered 4 dishes. The tapas of the month, some octopus, some pork shoulder, and the goat cheese stuffed bell peppers. So everything sounds pretty good. It's just gonna be a meal to have till we get to our next spot. So this is a type of different sangria from what we had yesterday. It doesn't look as bubbly. The taste is good, but just not as sparkly as the other one that we had. I like it. I don't know how it's supposed to be made. I'm not a huge sangria drinker, but taste is very similar everywhere we've had it. But personally, I like it with a little bit more carbonation. All right, so this is the goat cheese stuffed bell pepper. I'm gonna try to eat this in 2 bites. Ooh, yeah. I don't know what that jelly in there is, but that looks interesting.
Can you
Wow, it's almost like a dessert taste, right? Like it's really sweet. The pepper is sweet, the goat cheese just kind of melts in your mouth, and whatever jam or jelly they put in there, or sandwich in between, it's got a very sweet flavor. It's good. So glossy. What's nice about tapas is you get like to sample so many different things. That's a good starter. So they just brought us our next dish, which is the tapas of the month, and it's tuna tacos. From what I've been told by my girls, it's just like a poke taco with a little bit of spicy sauce, so we'll see how it is. That tortilla taco shell is actually quite soft. It's like a corn tortilla as well. Yeah, spice. That sauce has a little bit of a kick. Oh yeah, definitely does just taste like poke that I'm used to ordering. The sauce is a lot more spicy than usual. Go for this side before it drips.
I don't know yet, because we're gonna get dessert.
So we ordered the pork shoulder, beautifully served with some bread of some sort. Smother some of that here. Yeah. Wow, that sauce. Now the pork is not melt in your mouth tender, but it's very tender, it's chewable. Either that pepper or that sun-dried tomato with the green sauce comes together very nicely. Sweet, heart tangy, a little bit savory, and the meat is quite tender. And this dish here is some of that octopus. Comes in this heavy cream sauce with some sprouts. So it looks almost like a melted cheese, but it's just a cream sauce. Okay, there we go. Get a little bit of everything on that bite. That sauce tastes almost like a mashed potato texture. The octopus, you bite right through it. Wow. Maybe it is a little bit of mashed potato. Going for another bite. So tender, not rubbery at all. Like octopus that's not prepared well or it's not good quality, like you can keep chewing and you get a jaw muscle exercise. That is just like chicken, biting through chicken. Very tender chicken. All right, so we just got our half platter of cold cuts, and it comes with chorizo, some type of salami, some loin, and I think our favorite is going to be that ham because that looks super tender. All right, try some of this chorizo. So tasty. Wow. I don't know if it's healthy to eat this stuff every day, but man, that's good. And this cut here is a little bit smaller, but it's just a plain salami of some sort. Wow. Tastes good, but it's a little bit more on the tough side too. All right, and last but not least, gonna try some of this cured ham. Oh, yeah, it's a nice big thick cut there. Normally I would say the ham is my favorite. We've been eating a lot of ham, but that loin in particular from this spot is now my favorite because it's so tender, flaps around like just like ham, doesn't even look like loin, but like loin compared to some of the other places we've had. And the taste is not overwhelming, so it's kind of very good balance. Texture is good, quite tender, yeah. Now we're actually gonna hit up this spot called Demasie for some desserts. It's mostly pastries like cinnamon rolls, various cinnamon rolls, and a lot of cookie type desserts as well. And early in here, there was a lot of people and moves very fast. So if you don't have a sweet tooth, they also have a variety of savory pastries as well. I mean, this is just like pizza. So this is just a cinnamon roll topped with a layer of cream and some strawberry jam. Here we go for a nice bite. What's nice about it, it's not overly sweet. Like you buy a cinnamon bun from the US malls, you taste all that cream and sugar and cinnamon. This is actually fairly light, so it's nice. And the actual batter for the cinnamon bun itself is light and fluffy. Good. And so yeah, somebody already took a bite of this one, but it's just a chocolate chip cookie with a layer of fudge and a layer of pistachio spread, topped with some additional pistachio shavings. That looks like it tastes really good. All right, I gotta take a bite of that. Wow, need some milk or something, but wow. I love chocolate chip cookies, but that is a whole nother level, especially with all those toppings. Jesus. Wow. Yeah, take a bite, come here, take a bite.
Whenever we travel to any new destination, one of the things we always try to do is to visit an open outdoor market, so it should come as no surprise that La Boqueria Market was a place on our list of must-dos. The market, although very crowded and filled with tourists like myself, was bustling and filled with vibrant energy. There are plenty of vendors and stalls scattered throughout the market for you to sample various food items from. Although we came on a relatively full stomach from our previous meal, we did manage to try a few treats as we strolled along the various walk paths and admire the culture of this open market establishment.
Very salty. Very fresh to bite. You can taste all that salt water. All right, so it's our last official night here in Barcelona, and we're out for dinner after some much needed siesta. And the place that we're going to is about 5 minutes from our Airbnb that we're staying. It's called Quesarium, and we're trying to get there without reservations. They open at 9 p.m. and one of the highlights is live Spanish dancing, so we're hoping to catch that as a nice little treat. So when you first walk in, they actually have an upstairs dining area, but the highlight is to try to get downstairs because apparently that's where the show is. And like most restaurants we've seen, they also have an outdoor seating area as well, if that's your preference. So that was an amazing show to kind of start the evening. They brought us our first starter that we ordered, which is the smoked sardine with roasted vegetables. We're just gonna dig right in. It's gonna fall apart on me here, huh? Wow, they loaded up with a lot of vegetables. The fish almost tastes like it's like a poke in a way. You don't taste any of the sardine flavor. Very fresh. So in addition to the smoked sardine, we actually ordered some grilled octopus along with some foie gras with toasted bread, and they brought us two big, the red wine, or actually this is the sangria with cava, all right here. So this is the foie gras with the toasted bread. It's gonna get a little bit of the toast here and scrape a good chunk off with some of that sauce. Wow, so buttery. That's some really good quality foie gras. That sauce, perfect match. So we ran out of bread for that foie gras, so I'm just gonna eat it by itself. Some of that sauce. So creamy. Wow, it's just like butter. Okay, wow, that octopus is very tender. So tender. Like, I'm generally not a fan of squid or octopus. Like, whenever we go eat sushi or sashimi, I always avoid it. I actually always tell them I'm allergic so that they swap it out with something else, but that is some of the cleanest, most tender octopus I've ever had.
For our main courses, we ordered the suckling pig cooked in an Iberian ham juice along with the Angus sirloin steak. Both of these pork and beef dishes were spectacular in flavor, but my personal favorite was a sirloin steak that was deliciously fatty and tender.
Alright guys, so this is probably going to be our last official sangria here in Barcelona. So far we've only been in Barcelona for 3 days. I could probably spend another week here and still not feel fulfilled, but it's a starter and maybe we'll come back in the future, so cheers. I love that sparkling feeling. The carbonation in it is perfect. Alright, so this place was absolutely spectacular. A great way to end the night. Food was absolutely amazing. That steak was really good. All the starters were amazing, the suckling pork pig, but the highlight was obviously the entertainment that comes with it if you're able to get a seat downstairs. What I loved about that is obviously being able to see up close and personal some of the dancing culture here in Spain, but every one of those dancers and the performers, the musicians, so passionate about the art and craft that they're performing and showcasing. So we actually got to see 2 rounds because we were here for about an hour and a half or 2. Do one show and then 30 minutes later they put on a second show, and it was absolutely spectacular, very entertaining, and a great way to kind of go out and end our trip here in Barcelona.
As coffee lovers, there is certainly an abundance of cafes scattered on every street, alley, and corner of Barcelona, it seems. We visited multiple spots during our trip to satisfy our love of the bean and need of caffeine, but there was one cafe that left an everlasting impression on us as travelers.
We're at a place called Oma Bistro, which is a 10-minute walk from our Airbnb. We actually ordered some Spanish-style breakfast, as you can imagine. So the coffee looks spectacular. It's 2 flat whites with some freshly squeezed orange juice. Wow, actually pretty good. You can taste that crema. Alright, so there's the eggs Benedict with avocado. That looks amazing. That sauce, that hollandaise sauce. Oh yeah, that poached egg looks perfectly poached. But that hollandaise sauce on that eggs Benedict is like out of this world. And that egg is like perfectly poached. I like how the hollandaise sauce, like they drizzle a little bit of like orange spice on there, but it's not spicy as well. It just gives a little Spanish kick. Take a good bite here, get all that egg yolk.
Here's my egg yolk. So fast.
Got a different flavor. Like the sauce is very light. Not your typical hollandaise sauce. And that bread is very airy and it's chewy at the same time. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a little bit of everything. Wow. And you bite into that bread, it's like a little bit crispy on the outside. Wow. Good. It's interesting flavor. It's got like savory flavor, salty flavor, but then the spread that they put on is like almost like an apricot spread of some sort, and it gives a little bit of a sweet flavor as well. Now cheese is very buttery. Wow. Yeah, look at the inside of that. Yeah, it's good. All right, so Oma Bistro. So if you're in this area or you're visiting Barcelona, Spain, it's definitely worth come checking out, in my opinion, if you're looking for a decent brunch or breakfast. I personally love that sabrasada the most. The eggs Benedict, like that sauce, that hollandaise sauce is on a whole new level. Yeah, here we go, Oma Bistro.
Having traveled to neighboring countries in Europe before and after this trip, I can honestly say that the city of Barcelona, or perhaps the country of Spain, is on the top of my list as a foodie. Although we only spent 3 days in total here, we jam-packed a lot in the short amount of time but only scratched the surface into visiting many of the historic sites and culinary delights this beautiful city has to offer. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel to continue following me on my food and travel adventures. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.